The Big Show.
All right, Ross, we'll start with last night's game where the Chiefs, they made mistake after mistake after mistake, and the Lions took advantage of it en route to a 21-20 road victory.
One interesting game on so many different levels. I mean, I feel like I have about a million things I could say about this game. Jack, I'll start with this. Kelce did not play as expected. You guys heard me yesterday on the show. I was not expecting him to play. I think I said I'd be shocked or stunned if he played. That never made sense to me. And as more and more information comes out, it becomes clearer and clearer that he wasn't really going to play. So, I mean, he did a pool workout, and he had discomfort in the pool workout. I mean, that shows that he's further away from playing than people realize, I would say. So that was aspect one that was not surprising, but obviously had a big impact on the game. And then Chris Jones being up in the suite is just super weird. I mean, this is now officially turned into the weirdest holdout of all time. I mean, when's the last time a guy who was holding out came to a game and was in his own luxury box watching his team play, even though he's not with them, and he's being fined by the team and missing? I mean, he paid more than that because a luxury box costs more than that, but he paid $1.2 million or forfeited or gave up $1.2 million last night to watch that game. I mean, that is just bananas. I don't agree with the way he's going about this at all. He would have been much, much better off if he did a hold-in, but I guess that's not what he wanted to do or not the advice he got from his agents or whatever. It was so good, Jack, wasn't it? Just to see a regular season game and the colors and the stadium, and just felt right. Felt awesome, didn't it?
Yeah, it was great. I think the moment I really felt like it was back was Nick Bolton just laying the hammer on David Montgomery. That was like the first real. I was like, all right, we're back.
Well, that was awesome. And I don't even know if that was really a tripping, by the way. I mean, that was more just like getting run over. I mean, he didn't really trip him. I feel like Nick Bolton tripped over Montgomery as he ran him over. But at any rate, the action really got started when Dan Campbell went for a fake punt on 4th and 2 from his own 17. And that led to a pretty awesome drive by the Lions where Jared Goff was looking good. The O-line was looking good. I thought the O-line for the Lions looked fantastic pretty much all night. But it was mainly in the air on that drive. They had some good runs, but mainly in the air. And it led to an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. So next thing you know, it's 7-0. The Lions. By the way, Amon-Ra St. Brown was the guy I went with for my stud pick for Daily Fantasy on the Fantasy Feast podcast. That was a good choice. And then the Chiefs, by the way, answered right back. I mean, Mahomes' arm, his legs a couple times. I think Mahomes, like on that touchdown drive, the answer drive, I think he hit like 4 or 5 different receivers, which on the one hand is really good and impressive, and they got a bunch of guys, and Mahomes isn't afraid to spread the ball around. On the other hand, it just goes to show you they don't really have like a go-to guy, especially without Kelce, and that clearly became an issue as the game went. But they scored a touchdown there. Rashee Rice got his first touchdown, the rookie from SMU. Threw the ball away. I don't know what happened with the ball, but it's his first touchdown ball. That wasn't real smart. And then the Lions, they kind of answered right back. They had a great drive, and then they're like at the 10-yard line. And I don't know what happened there, but Ragnow snapped it while the tight end was in motion. And so the next thing you know, they fumbled the ball. Goff jumped on it. Then they're about to at least get a field goal, which at that point would have been huge. But Marvin Jones fumbled. I mean, not ideal, especially when you're, the Lions, and you're doing everything you can to try to stay in this game, try to win this game on the road. And then, of course, right after that, Mahomes on like 3rd and 17 had back-to-back long throws, one to Valdez Scantling in traffic, one to Justin Watson. They score a touchdown, and the Chiefs go into halftime up 14-7. And you thought, oh boy, I don't know if this is going to work out for the Lions. But then I would say, Jack, maybe the story of the game was the biggest story of the game. There were several. Was Kadarius Toney for the Chiefs. Had 3 blatant drops. Even when they handed him the ball, he lost yardage. But the worst of the drops by far, the one, there was another guy in motion, crossing in front of him. The other one, towards the end of the game, the ball was behind him a little bit. But the pick 6 by Brian Branch could not have possibly been a better throw by Mahomes, and Tony goes right through his hands. Branch actually puts his right hand out and able to get snared in the air for a touchdown. That was actually one of the big themes from the game, I would say, Jack. One of the big takeaways. Really impressed by the Lions rookies. Jack Campbell, Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and maybe most of all, Brian Branch, Jack.
Yeah, I would absolutely. Branch, that was absolutely massive play. Laporta had a really nice grab in the middle there. He fought through contact at one point, too, I saw.
But then, even after that touchdown, the Chiefs threw a bomb to my boy Justin Watson, the Ivy Leaguer from Penn, which was pass interference. But twice the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal. This time, they did like the jet sweep thing with Kadarius Toney, and they lost yardage, and then 3rd down was incomplete. So the Chiefs, who were in the red zone, had to settle for a field goal. So it's 17-14. Then the Chiefs have another nice drive. Primarily Noah Gray, who, if you remember, Jack, from the Fantasy Feast podcast, was my value pick. He didn't have a great night, but he had a nice run and catch. And again, the Chiefs get down deep in Lions territory. And again, it's 3rd and 1. And rather than have Mahomes do anything, they do a jet sweep with the tight end Blake Bell at quarterback, hand it to Rashee Rice. The Lions were all over it. Essentially a couple times they took the ball out of Mahomes' hands, which was not smart. Next thing you know, it's 20-14. Chiefs had to settle for a field goal, and that's really what ended up getting them. Because then the Lions had maybe their best march of the game, primarily on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs had a big run, but it was a lot of David Montgomery for the Lions to take the lead 21-20, and then they held. They had a chance, the Chiefs did. Kadarius Toney was wide open. Mahomes threw it to him. He dropped it. Now, that ball was maybe behind him a little bit, but as an NFL receiver, you have to drop it. You have to catch it. I would say Toney's drops, clearly one of the biggest stories of the game, without question. I thought Aiden Hutchinson was outstanding for the Lions. I thought Nick Bolton was terrific for the Chiefs. And then the Jawan Taylor thing. I'll say this. I thought most of the time Jawan Taylor, I thought it was close enough on him timing the count that you didn't call it. The last one was egregious, so they did call it. I thought the more egregious thing was he was lining up illegally. He was lining up in the backfield most of the game. They really have to call that. Ultimately ended up being 21-20